it was so surreal as well, because it was nothing like how we could have possibly pictured the story going. Because
Right.
as a kid, and like when starting up bands, I always imagined it would be like at a live show that you'd get like an A&R guy come in and be like, hey, hey,
Hey, what's going on, man?
not too bad. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you doing this.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Sure. I'm Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new Raptors record.
Fantastic. Sounds great, Adam.
Cool. I so first off, I guess talk to me about where you're born and raised.
Sweet. So I was born in the out in the sticks in Wales.
Okay.
It's southwest Wales. So yeah, I grew up on the coast, in the far reaches. So not too far away, but about 3.5 hours away from where we are now.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you in the you're in the UK right now?
yes.
Oh my, what time is it? Like 3 a.m. or something?
No, we're only on 8 p.m.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how much different it is.
Some would say it's happy hour, but I'm on
Yeah,
the now.
there you go. Okay, so you're only about 8 hours ahead of me. Well, what was it like growing up there? You said West Wales?
West Wales, yeah. So it is a haven, really. It is really nice. I actually only spent 3 years of my life there,
Okay.
before my family have moved around so much. But they've actually gone back there now, so that's where like my parents and stuff are. But it's really nice, but it's so quiet. It's picturesque, it's beautiful. There's a lot of nice beaches that are completely deserted. It's kind of like an untapped secret haven that just no one in England even knows where it is. Like
Really? You would think that if it's on the coast that people would be all over it.
yeah, the thing is, like everyone in England knows Cornwall, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
west of England.
Mm-hmm.
So people just don't go across because it's so out the way, and it's so the roads and stuff to go there are there's no like motorways or anything. It's really unreachable. So it has that going for it. It's really beautiful and like picturesque. And if you want to escape, then it's really nice. But like growing up there and trying to find careers, like my parents and whatnot, there's nothing there. It's so rural. So they moved when I was quite young.
Okay.
To more of the sticks in mid Wales. So it was.
Oh, really? So you just moved from this one rural area to another?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. My mum was a teacher at the time. My dad was a carpenter, but they've kind of scaled up their careers. But they just wanted a change of scenery, and they went into the middle of Wales, which is where I spent sort of my time from when I was about 3 to about 16.
Oh, okay.
And that also was limiting. So I kind of I got quite fed up at an early age, and I left home as soon as I could, and started traveling around a little bit.
Okay. And you ended up where you are now.
Yeah. I studied for a couple of years down in Plymouth, and then we like in another band that I was in at the time, we moved to Bristol because Bristol has always had a really good music scene. It has got notorious bands like Massive Attack and like some big bands to come out of here. So we really wanted to come here. It was either here or London, and London is just so expensive that we literally couldn't afford to live in London. So we moved to Bristol.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was it's really like the music scene that brought us here. and then yeah, this is kind of where Raptors kind of came in soon after that.
Okay. Well, to rewind real quick here, if you don't mind. Well, how did you originally get into music?
So that was in high school, where there was not a lot to do. I it's hard to explain without like showing you how in the middle of nowhere this school was. The population was probably around like only a couple thousand. It was, it's really, really small. And so there was not a lot to do. And then getting to teen years, it was like you get wasted, or you get into the arts, or for the first sort of time before I discovered alcohol, I just used to literally just go running. And this is what I spent my time doing, because I just had so much energy, still do, but
I just gotta run.
I just literally running around a field. So yeah, it'd be like, there goes the running guy again, like very Forrest Gump.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then I started finding the arts probably when I was like 13, 14, and I started enjoying doing art. Went to my first show around then, so I was about 13 or 14. Traveled miles and miles to our nearest kind of venue, and actually was lucky enough to see Incubus.
Really?
Yeah, so we went to see the, like, Cardiff Arena was about 2.5, 3 hours away, but like we had a group of like older friends who could drive, and they took us down, and got to see it. Yeah, good show at quite a young age. And
what, like, were they pretty big at the time when you saw them, or?
That was probably around the Crow Left the Murder album.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, they had success on that after that second record, right? Okay.
So yeah, they were a good size, and yeah, so it was like overwhelming to go from like tiny little town, and I hadn't even seen a local gig before, and went straight into that, and it was just like
more people than your whole town.
literally crammed into the arena. It's literally that was the case. And so that, seeing Brandon Boyd doing his thing was just kind of mind blowing, and I was like, I can get involved in that. So started doing little like jam bands in middle of high school.
As just the singer, or did you play guitar or anything at that point?
I tried to play guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, my mum had an acoustic guitar. I had a 12-string, which I've still got just over here.
Oh, cool.
Which was a hand me down, so like generations. So I've kept that one safe here. But that's where I started kind of having to play. But I was just a loud guy with the energy. So probably not the most tuneful back then, but I gave it a good shot at singing. And yeah, we just kind of stayed behind after school. We had one teacher that we really got on with, and they just gave us the keys and like left us to our own devices.
That's awesome.
Which was really, really cool. She was great. She was really cool. I've still got her on Facebook as well, which is really nice.
That's amazing. She probably sees now that, like, you know, you're doing this, and you know you have success at it. That's probably really cool for her.
Yeah, she'll
like, I remember when I let him go play, like, jam in the room just for, you know, after school.
Yeah, literally, like, I can remember that noise, that racket.
right.
To like keep us away from getting into any trouble, really. But it was yeah, she was really sweet. And yeah, that was where it kind of began. And we started jamming, started doing some like local shows, and yeah, kind of just carried on doing that for years. Well, many years to today, really.
And were you, like, that was a band you had in high school, but like, were you said you moved around quite a bit right after. Were you going to school for music? You said you ended up going to school for a bit, and then also just moved around quite a bit. Were you pursuing this the whole time?
Yeah, like basically it was always there on the side. So I did the moved around a little bit and ended up going to university to study film actually.
Oh wow, okay.
So I've never actually studied music. I've never had any form of musical training or anything like that. It's always been a passion. But yeah, I've always been studying other things. Like I was studying psychology in college, and then gave that up and wanted to do media and art and pursue those arts, and was all constantly doing music on the side. And it just got to a point where the music was taking over. Like I was paying way more attention to music than any of the studies I was doing. Everyone kind of asked, like, why didn't you just study music? And I was like, nah, like never wanted
You
to.
might have not loved it in me, you know what I mean?
This is the thing, like when it got to basically everything that I ever really loved and really put like stuff into, when it became that kind of forced side, like I loved reading in school on the side, but as soon as someone was like, you have to read this, I all of a sudden was like, it's like the like
reverse psychology. You're like,
oh, I don't want to do it now.
Yeah.
And like even running, like I became like I running as a younger kid, and through like 13 and 14 I was running around the field, but I actually got I ended up in the national team for athletics.
Like, wow, like cross country or track or something like that.
So
Oh,
I did,
sprinting. Wow.
yeah, so there's 100 and 200 meters. And I became like obsessive. Everything I do, I go in full for it. And yeah, I ended up doing 100 and 200 meters for the country. And now I was still only like 15, 16 at that point. And
Wow.
so I was doing that, and then all of a sudden that something clicked in my brain there, where that it lost the fun, it lost the joy, because I had people I was training 5-6 times a day, and then 5-6 times a week even.
Yeah.
And then like performing at the weekend at Grand Prix and all at the all these national events. And yeah, the fun kind of got sucked out of it. So I was like, I didn't want to do that with music. I like music was the lifeblood through all of it. I've always loved music, always had a keen ear for it, and really loved like the theatrics, and really just enjoyed it on the side. It was kind of my escape. But yeah, as it happens, the scale kind of flipped as I moved on.
So then did you move to Bristol with this band, or were you, why did you choose there? Or just, I mean, you said it was a music city, right? So like, did you move there with another band, or did you move there to join a band, or just move there with the intent that, hey, I could probably do music here because it's a thing?
It was with another band.
Okay.
So we were living in southwest England in a place called Plymouth.
Okay. Well, that's where you said you went to school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were doing like reasonably well on that circuit, but there was just nothing much there at the time. As it happens, it's actually come up. The scene down there is really cool now, but at the time it was just nothing really going on. So we all collectively decided to move to Bristol to kind of get involved in that scene. But it was soon after that actually the project ended up breaking down anyway. Our drummer got snapped up into a signed band, and it just all went pear-shaped, and we were very bitter about it. But we kind of all kind of separated into kind of different projects, and some people just stopped doing it. And from that, that is where I actually met Ian, who is now the guitarist in Raptors.
Okay. So you met him in that band, or you just met him after the band disbanded?
Right after, me and the guitarist from the old band, we wanted to continue working together, and we were like, let's get another guitarist involved. And Ian was actually in another project. So he was looking for a singer, and I was there with my like best friend at the time, and we were like, well, we come as a package, so like,
right, of course.
he's coming along as well. And so yeah, so we started a band together, and I've been working with Ian since that.
So then that band you guys had then again fizzled out or something, and then Raptors started after that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So
what year do you start this band?
So this band started in 2018.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, still relatively young, because considering 2 years of that was in lockdown.
Right, I know, exactly. That's what's crazy to think. You're like, well, we started the band 5 years ago, but we've only really had like less than 3 to do anything.
It was insane as well, because we'd all had different projects. The band Raptors, we all knew each other from this scene. It sounds very incestuous. Bristol is quite a big place, but we were all just all like.
Well, that kind of what happens, right? I mean, if you're hanging out with people in the same genre, or people are going to the same shows, I mean, I see that you see that happen all the time, no matter what city you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Matt and Harley, who were in the band, they were in university together, and they started a band as well. They went to a music institution, and so they were kind of doing function bands and stuff together. So those two knew each other, but were in separate bands. Sam had been in another band with Harley as well. Me and Ian were still. We then became the twosome that were joined at the hip. And we could see that the project that we were in was kind of dying down, and we had all been in support bands, or we'd gone out on tour with any number of the other guys. And decided if their stuff was kind of going south, why not start writing some tunes together and see what happens. And we had a good feeling, because we just all hung out and went drinking, and just as casual mates anyway. And that's half the battle.
Right. Finding 4 or 5 people that you can actually get along with for a week straight or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's once you've got like the same sense of humor, or like the same kind of some sort of crossover with musical taste, and a similar kind of work ethic. I think work ethic is a huge one, because we've had bands where, and all in so many projects, where it would be like 2 people like are absolutely gunning for it, and they want to make this like their life goal, and the other guys are just like, they like music, but it's kind of like a side thing, or
right.
They if there's a gig, they'll go to it. It's that kind of like. And I do believe that even if there's one person like that, where they're not pulling their weight, or everyone's not steering the ship, everyone's not rowing at the same time, then it's just something's going to go wrong eventually.
No, for sure. And I think that's why it kind of gets incestuous, as you said, because there's all these bands happening that are breaking up for various reasons, but maybe I would guess a lot of it has to do with not work ethic, but like the priority of the project versus other things in their life. I mean, if you're in a band and 3 guys are going to college, and one guy just got married, or one guy's pursuing a career in like economics or finance, and then it's like, well, if he lands a job making money, he's probably not going to put this first. Whereas our band, this band, and that band, there's a couple people from each one of these that this is it. This is all they have their sights set on. And well, let's all get together. And if you gel, obviously, but like, I mean, I can see how that all happens.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, there's never any kind of bitter feeling towards it. It's just when you're in it for life, and you're in it with that goal, then yeah, you need counterparts. You need everyone in the same engine to be running at the same speed. And yeah, it took a lot of iterations, but it was, yeah, it just clicked, and it just a good feeling once it all came together.
That's amazing. And so the band gets together in 2018. You put a record out in 2019, I believe, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And with that album, like, was that writing process different than any other band you had been in before, or and like, yeah, tell me about that, I guess,
Yeah,
before I
so
ask you a follow-up question to the same question.
it was a really good thing. It was just an EP. So we basically, in the first year, we just focused straight on. After about 2 months, we got straight onto the road.
Oh, really? Okay. So you didn't, sometimes it's the other way around. I was just curious because, I mean, the record came out in 2019. So right away you were like, okay, we're together. We have some songs. Let's just start playing them out to everyone.
Yeah, 100, like it was 100%. And we
Okay.
wanted to hit the ground running. And we wanted to kind of hold back on a full release until we kind of had some like proper PR interest. And we had made so many mistakes. We've made them all in these previous projects with rushing releases and going to the studio too quick and like churning stuff out, and it kind of falling on deaf ears, and it was like more disheartening that way. So we were like, let's build a core following. Let's see what we really are about. Let's find I think that's where we found our sound, if one for a better term. Like we wanted to see what Raptors was all about. So we wrote a handful of songs. I think we're still doing like a cover, and we had about 5 songs and like a cover, and we were just like, anyone's about, take us on tour. And we lucked out massively with some really good friends of ours that we had known from other projects, and unfortunately they were coming to the end of their road, and they were doing a farewell tour, and we had obviously just started, and they were like, well, passing the torch, so to speak. They were like, well, you can come on tour and open for us every night. And yeah, you can come out and see. And honestly, it was such a huge mark of respect for those guys to do that, because some of those people that we met on those first shows are still like massive fans now. And it was a really cool moment. And our first ever gig was not even in this country. Like we played in Scotland in our first show. So
wow.
Just it was, yeah, really kind of bizarre, and not the norm to do it. We hadn't played a hometown show. We hadn't done anything like that. We went straight to Glasgow, played a show, and all of these rooms were like packed to come and say bye to this band called Speaking in Shadows. And we got to do like a full, it was like pretty much 2-week tour straight off the bat.
That's huge.
Yeah, just with this handful of songs.
But you didn't have anything recorded. So at that point, when you get back, now you have all these probably people that are like, oh, hey, like I saw you in Glasgow, I saw you in wherever. And like, now you can be like, oh yeah, here's our record, or here's our EP.
That was the full intent of the first year, was just, yeah, get ourselves sorted, really align with what we're going for, hit the road, get as many shows under the belt as we can, mainly just opening up. We were happy to go on whatever time, whatever stage, and meet some new people, and then kind of get that following. Really road test the songs as well. Like we found because we always claim, and our biggest kind of motto to ourselves is that we're a live band first and foremost, and everything else is kind of secondary It's such like we love every ounce of the whole process, but live, we are a live band, and through that road testing process, we'd written these songs, and before we went into the studio, we completely changed them. Like, we took the essence of the song, took it on the road, and we were like, okay, well, this bit pops live, let's like get to that point sooner, or this song might drag a little, can we chop like this middle 8 section completely out? It was like a road testing sort of experience for the songwriting, which was another kind of new aspect that we did, and it worked really well. Well, I like to think so anyway.
Sure. No, yeah. And then
I think we came out stronger for it.
and then you're back. I mean, yeah, you released this record then, and then how long did you have? Like, what month did you put it out in 2019? I'm just curious, because then obviously the pandemic happens with like a year, less than a year, I would imagine, after that.
Yes. So what we did, we put it out. It was a start of the summer. It was like April. It was May. It was May.
Independently, you guys put it out independently.
Yes.
Okay, because you're now on Metal Blade. I want to talk to you about that because that's awesome. But okay, sorry, go ahead. So you independently put out this first record.
So we decided to put it out. We had this like core following. We hadn't done like an actual lot of PR. We were kind of saving ourselves for that, but we had made some contacts along the way, and it was all DIY. It was all self-done, along with our manager, and we put that out in the start of the summer in 2019, and then toured like crazy over that summer. Like, it was non-stop from like March until like October, and then it was just constant. It was never really any respite, and we were all working as well, which was just the mad thing. Like, we all had to like continue working day jobs or working self-employed,
right,
while doing this, and just constantly touring, and getting like a really good momentum up through festival season, where we played a lot of like the smaller kind of festivals, smaller and mid kind of size festivals, and then we went back into the studio then in October, because we'd written like on the road, as we were saying, like and road tested a couple new songs. And so we recorded in October, then carried on through the winter, all the way through Christmas to January. And then we released one single in January, and then did our final tour before lockdown came and the world stopped.
Sure. Oh my gosh. And then all that momentum that you had built is like,
it was mad, man. It felt like hitting a wall. It was just like, it was going right up until, and we had stuff booked in, and it was really kind of hitting stride, and we were just constantly on the road, and the shows were like insane. And then we stopped, but we had one bullet still left in the chamber, and we had one single that again we had recorded in the October before, kind of while we were touring. And we put that out a couple weeks into lockdown, because we were like, we genuinely thought this was it was going to be like
2 weeks,
3 weeks, and then we'll get back out and tour the single.
Sure.
But we put it out, and that single absolutely went off.
Yeah, are you talking about You, Me, and the Devil Makes Three?
That's the one.
Yeah.
So that is what kind of then started turning a few more heads. And I don't know if it was like lockdown related, but it just seemed that a lot of people seemed to be online a lot more. So it got a whole lot of attention, and it spread a lot quicker than anything that had before. So that song is the reason we got picked up by Metal Blade in the end, which is
Really? So then
Nice.
they reach out to you like, hey, like, what do you guys got going on? Like, this song is doing, I mean, it has nearly 1 million plays on Spotify.
Yes, yeah. So it's yeah, it as the story goes, I believe it was Chris Santos who owns and runs Blacklight Media, and
Mm-hmm.
he and his team picked it up while apparently having a late night session. Apparently that's what he does when he's at home. He has a couple of drinks and relaxes and finds new music. And apparently he came across that and mentioned that to the Metal Blade team, and yeah, it went from there.
That's
Which was
crazy. What a dream come true, I would imagine.
100%. It was so surreal as well, because it was nothing like how we could have possibly pictured the story going. Because
Right?
as a kid, and like when starting up bands, I always imagined it would be like at a live show that you'd get like an A&R guy come in and be like, hey.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Here's like with a scroll and just
You're
like
gonna be a star, Simon.
but as it happened, it was like we were all stuck in this house and we were like everything, the whole world felt completely surreal, and we had these Zoom calls where we were going through everything with the team and sorting everything out, and it was over months and months of discussions, and it was just like, oh, this is how this is going down. It was like so bizarre, because they even said normally they would have just like, yeah, they liked our stuff, they probably would come to a show and it would happen over a drink and like some sort of more ceremonious.
Yeah, right. That it'd be more of a bigger deal than, hey, so we're on the computer on the other end of this world. Like, what's going on? Do you guys want to sign the deal?
Yeah, it was so bizarre, and we were like waiting at any point for it to just be like, this is this really happening? Like, because like I don't know if you felt it, I'm sure you did at certain times, just like it felt like suspended reality. During the lockdown, it was just like Groundhog Day, like
Mm-hmm.
is like what is this? Like days were blurring into each other, and
Well, it's like, is this like so many times I was like, this has got to be not like has to be fake. Like this has got to be some sort of joke. Like just
yeah,
having just playing the tape forward, thinking like in 10 years we're still going to be talking about the masks and the this and and it's like this is something that's never going to go away. Like it's just, I'm not, I guess not the mask specifically, but like this
but
virus will always be. It'll be like, oh, blah 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 has strep throat today. It's like going to be the same thing, which is
yeah,
so crazy to think.
yeah, and the kind of the thing that does kind of some sort of comfort in it is that like everybody in the whole world has gone through it the same. Like it's
so
one thing that's
nuts.
kind of like unifying, that everyone can talk about how crazy this experience was, and like how really like suspended in some sort of parallel reality, how it felt. Like everyone has said the same thing. Everyone I've spoken to since, I've spoken to people across the world, and they're all like,
Right.
this is absolutely insane.
It is so insane. I mean, during that's kind of when this podcast I'm doing like really started to do something. I was on terrestrial radio in California forever, for 17 years. And then like this is like, oh, now no one's doing anything. Like, hey, like I already had this going for a bit, but it was never done this way. And then it was
Yeah,
like, oh, like this Zoom thing is like catching on to everyone. And then it was like, oh, hey, like let's do an interview over this. Well, I'm sitting in my house doing nothing because we can't leave for whatever. And then now it's like I'm talking to people in the Netherlands, in Australia, in the UK, in New York City, or wherever it had to be, Canada. It's like everyone is dealing with the same thing, and everyone has a similar story of where they were when the thing happened, how that affected them, it's all just, it's so crazy. Like it's like, are we living in some like simulation? Like what is happening?
That is genuinely how it was. And there's certain days, like especially with sleep deprivation, because I was just like, well, I don't need to go to bed. I'm
Right. I got nothing going on. Nowhere to be.
Stay up and like when the writing process was happening, I was up for like days on end. Like I think probably it was like 3 to nearly 4 days up with no sleep, just putting things down and seeing what I could come up with, because why not? I was like, I might as well see what my brain does when I get to this point.
Do some testing.
Yeah.
If I stayed for 4 days, what am I going to come up with?
It was like, what else am I going to do? I'm never going to get another opportunity quite like that. So I was like, yeah, but it didn't help the whole is this real? Is this a simulation thing? Because I was genuinely at some point going, this has got to be a hoax. Is everyone in on this? Is this
right?
It's like a show kind of stuff.
Yeah, then they're gonna reveal like, just kidding.
Yeah, I was like,
that funny? Like what? Oh man. Well, so you signed with Metal Blade based off of that song that got the conversation going, and then it was okay. Hey, the deal happens. I guess. Did you have to present more music to them, or like how did that work?
So basically, what had happened? It was kind of freakishly, like, I know the whole situation was really screwed up for a lot of people, but I feel bad saying it, but the way the lockdowns were timed actually worked perfectly for us. We released that song during lockdown. In that time, we refined the songs because we were due another recording session, because initially those first 2 songs that we had, we were going to record another 5, and then we were going to have another session to make the album anyway. We were going to do that regardless of if we were signed or if we were going to do it independently, or we were going to start like pitching stuff then. So we were on their radar from that song. But then in that time where we hadn't put pen to paper, there was loads of stuff still to do. So we went and recorded as soon as the first lockdown ended. We went and recorded half the album.
Oh wow, okay.
So we had 5 songs in this little short time, and then we did the full pitch and spoke to the guys and the A&R guys, and it was at that point where it was like, okay, this is going to happen now. So it was between like midsummer and like October, where Metal Blade got involved properly, and we had the 5 songs that they were looking over. And it was at that point that we decided that it was going to be a full album, and we ended up, because of, again, various lockdowns and
sure,
everything starting, we didn't actually get into the studio till early 2021 to then finish the album.
Okay. And the record's coming out in next month, I believe, right? June?
Yeah, June 24th.
Okay. Living Without Death's Permission.
That is the one.
I love it.
One and only.
Well, tell me about the new one the newest song that you've released in the video and everything is for Rock Bottom, right?
That is right. Yeah. Rock Bottom is Stepping Stone, which was super, super fun in every element of that song, and the video and everything was just super, super fun. It was written, again, like as most of it was, during the height of lockdown.
Okay.
Where my head was beginning to spin when,
sure,
like, it worked out kind of perfectly, because I think I was genuinely losing my mind during lockdown, and all the songs and in their first iterations were so serious and they were so dark. I was seeing like a lot of things that were making me super angry. And as I do with songwriting, I tend to write and write, get the song, and then I scrap it, and then I go at it again. And I find that's kind of like how I refine my writing, is not being scared to just scrap whatever the first idea is, go at it again. And I did this with the whole album way more than I normally would, because I had more time on my hands.
Was it, well, that was it more time on your hands? And what about the pressure of Metal Blade? Like, had you signed the deal and were like, okay, they are cool with these 5? Like, does that add an extra pressure?
I felt like, because we'd already, Rock Bottom was in the first half, so that was
okay,
kind of pressureless. It was only pressure that we put on ourselves. But the second half, I don't think so. Like, I think maybe subconsciously there was like a some sort of like, oh, we got to do the best, but like we approach everything in the same manner. Each song that we ever write, the next one has to be better.
got it. Okay,
that is how we'll always go about it. Whether if it's in the same style or completely different style, we've got to consider this song stronger than the last. So the pressure, any pressure that comes, it was never from the idea of being on the label. It was more that we put it on ourselves.
okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if you had like, now this, like, are we going to screw this up? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you could approach that in that sense, but that's awesome that didn't even run into your mind.
Yeah, it really doesn't, because we knew they liked our stuff and they liked it for what it was and who we are. So we knew from that hell, like, let's
let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Exactly. I think it could be tragic if you try and please, or like try and do something that you think someone's gonna like. That's probably where a lot of downfall comes. I think you've got to do it for yourself, and it's a roll of the dice, but it's the most rewarding thing when it comes off.
For sure.
Yeah, it's got to be entirely you, and I think that's why the album sounds like it's having an identity crisis, because we were all going through so much that we were like, it's got to be what we're going through. We need it to be human. We need it to be what we're feeling in this moment right now, regardless of how that comes out, whether it's going to be super angry and super heavy, or like if we're dealing with grief, we'll paint a different picture that way. And as it came to with certain songs, Rock Bottom is a stepping stone being one of them, Demons in My Headphones being another one, where the humor element came into it, and that was from me winding myself up. I'm like my own worst enemy, and I was going around in circles and circles, and I was like, oh, this particular thing that I'll tell you what the song is fully about in a second, but it was this thing that was driving me insane. And then all of a sudden I kind of came out myself and was thinking, what the hell am I doing? I'm in a small room getting angry and infuriated with myself. I was like, I gotta lighten up. And that's where like the sarcasm kind of came into it. And I really wanted to talk about like a darker subject, but really kind of poke fun into it. And that's how Rock Bottom came about during lockdown. And it was a decision to kind of show a bit of actual personality. I'm not like an angry person all the time. I'd like to think I've got a position than that.
Right. You don't seem like an angry person at all. That's what's amazing.
It's because I get to unleash it all. But it's it was something that drove me crazy. It was from the States, actually. It was something that I had seen going around on social media, and it drove me insane. we have it in the UK as well, but it was a certain celebrity religious figure, should we say. And this guy was on a certain channel asking for money. And
Oh, okay. I know. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Like
yeah,
a evangelist or what are they?
yeah,
Yeah.
you got it. And this guy said that he could blow away COVID through the screen. So like donate the money and like come close to your screen and I'm gonna blow COVID away.
Oh wow.
And I was like, this, so my immediate thing was like, this is hilarious, like this is crazy. But then I did a deep dive into this guy, and he's like multi-millionaire. Like he's got his own like private jet and runway in his house and like crazy amounts of money. And that got me thinking, like, this is insane, because the people who are giving to this guy and to his channel and his program, they're not going to be the richer people of the world. Like these are people who are like desperately wanting salvation, and they're trying to buy their place in the afterlife. And I thought that is one of the darkest things ever. Like when I really go into it, I was like, that is horrible. That he's just there like, yeah, just give me more money, give me more money.
Yeah.
And
oh wow.
Lying. Like I can just blow it away. Yeah. It didn't really work, did it, dude?
Maybe it works for the people that donate.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's it.
See,
that's
what
it.
if you have donated? He could have blown right in through your TV screen.
Yeah. Damn it. No vaccine needed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, but I kind of figured that's what you were going with, like with the way you're describing it. But wow. Okay. Yeah. Obviously. So that's what kind of fueled the song.
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to just have to write a story about one of those people who is given to this person, and then all of a sudden has that realization of, oh, hang on, I've given literally everything away.
Right.
That's where I kind of found the farcical side of it, and kind of had a lot of fun with writing it. But at the same time, it was still infuriating to write, knowing that it's really happening. It's just crazy. But like for the video for that, then we were like, we have to recreate this. So that was super fun to play, dress up, and to get that. I was like, I can see why they get into this. I was like,
I found it. You're like, I found myself a new career.
I could do this. I could do with a private jet.
Oh, well, that's amazing. I love the songs you have out thus far. The record coming out in a little over a month. Are you doing a support or touring it? Like, have you had a chance to do anything like that since 2019 or whatever? So
it's opening back up now. So it's only now that shows are like full capacity again. So it's kind of working out good timing. It was well calculated from the label, to be fair, because we were ready to go with it for a long time. But touring, it's so important, and I feel like it would have we'd have really kind of not enjoyed sitting on it or like releasing it and then having to wait until now to fully tour. So it's nice that it's going to be coming out. We're going to be doing an album launch party in our hometown in Bristol, and then we're going to be hitting the road soon after that. It's amazing. All unannounced at the moment, but
okay. Any chance you're coming over here to the States?
It's definitely something we're working on, and we've had some people, some really great people I can't mention yet, but they've said that some really cool tours that could happen, but we need to get everything in line and in place for that. If it does come off, it'll be dream stuff.
Amazing. Well, Simon, man, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it, man. I know it's
thank you, man.
Evening at your house, and you're taking time to hang with me. I appreciate it.
I love it, man. Like, thank you for having me. It's been awesome to chat.
Cool. I have one more question, and then I'll let you go about your evening. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
100%. I think if I could talk for hours about this. But one thing I would say is really kind of be true to yourself. I know that sounds a little bit like overly preachy, but it in every aspect, it is really follow your gut instinct. Have your eyes on trends and whatnot, but if you don't fit in with it, don't do it. Completely follow your own gut instinct and hit it hard.